So we built this really cool tool that'll help you figure out which peptide therapy best matches your personal history, medical history, medications, family history, and it also screens for low testosterone and menopause symptoms where appropriate. We'd already filmed a full-length video with the idea of chopping it up into different pieces to put into an ad, but then realized that someone that's curious about peptides may just want to see the full-length thing on YouTube too. So I threw the outfit back on and we wanted to film this intro, and this way we could explain a little bit on why the tone may be a little different than our usual content. I also describe why experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Koniver were recently talking about peptides and insisted on anyone who's interested working with a physician or other medical professional, as well as knowing the source of their supply here to make sure it's as pure as possible, not tainted with different bacteria fragments and those sorts of things. So it's as safe as possible in an area that's already not fully well understood right now. I even threw a little bit of shade at one of the major suppliers who had refused to send us their independent lab testing of their samples because it's kind of weird that they wouldn't do that. I also revisit a personal experience from a couple different videos here of really fast recovery after a hamstring tear and how peptides help that a little bit too. Now, if you already know what you want, go down to the description, click on the link there, and you can take your quiz right now, or just go to peptides.admiremedical.com for that same quiz. As of this recording, we're not even making you put in an email address or name or anything. You can just hop in there and have fun. Finally, there are disclaimers everywhere, but I gotta say again, this is entirely for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not medical advice. Your results on the quiz are not medical advice. This is just so that you can see what sorts of things may be worth speaking with a professional about, whether it's your own physician or you schedule with Admire Medical. Either way, we just want to make sure that we're doing this safely because there's a lot of people going online and getting these peptides shipped in from overseas and not really knowing what they're putting into their bodies. I've helped thousands of men reclaim their vitality through testosterone therapy. And now I want to help you find a safer way to access peptide therapies. They've got a point. Peptides show incredible promise. I mean, retired athletes coming back to the sport they love and setting new world records. Current athletes returning to play after an injury unbelievably fast. Weight loss, vitality, heck, just the potential for some darn good sleep. Hamstring tear. But look at me now. Not years later, not even months later. This is about a month after I tore my hamstring in 3 places. There's a reason some of these peptides are named things like the Wolverine stack, racehorse peptide, exercise mimic, sleep peptide. Not really very creative on the last one there. And then other exciting names based on their effects on the body. If they're so fabulous, then why aren't they in the drinking water? Well, as small proteins, they need to be injected so they don't get digested by your stomach and intestines. And that brings us to point number 2. Even though it's kind of figurative there with the drinking water thing, the sources for these right now, most of the time, they're not rock solid, no doubt in my mind safe. Which is kind of important because you need to inject these into your body. Certain sciences websites that can't help you figure out what's safe for you, they force you to do your own research, guess what's going to work best with your own biology, then blindly trust this bottle that a faceless company mails you in the mail so that you can inject it into your body. Plus, how do you know which one would even be safe with your own personal medical history and medications that you're taking and everything like that? Well, we solved all these problems. If you're already sold in the promise of peptides, you need to be sold in their safety. For the investment that you're making, in the very personal way that peptides are administered, you want to put your mind at ease. An ease that only a medical professional sitting across from you can provide. Let me show you the form that we just built that you can plug in your medical history, medications, goals, and receive a rank ordered list of potential peptides that you may want to look into. So why don't we go through a quiz here and see which peptides might be a good match for me. All right. So my goals, build a little bit of muscle, recover better from my injuries, aches and pains. Sleep's always a good idea. A bit of brain health. Okay. Get my age in here. I'll say and I'm 6 foot. Say I'm concerned about testosterone, and I'll say I'm taking in clomiphene and ibuprofen for those aches and pains. All right. No. Family history of cancer. No. All right. So because I had some concerns about testosterone levels, it went ahead and put in the ADAM questionnaire, which is the main screening test for low testosterone. Well, let's give it a positive test results here. Okay. All right. Of course, these are not approved by the FDA. All right. So up top here, you have your biographic information. It gives you a nice little summary there, including your highest priority goals. It mentions that positive screen in the ADAM questionnaire, so you want to seek evaluation for testosterone levels from a qualified professional. This next piece here is going to explain how your score is calculated because each of these are ranked based on your answers. It takes in your priorities and health information as well as which priorities were not met by this particular peptide. So it subtracts points there to give you the best match. Some dosing protocols, some personalized notes here, and labs that might be beneficial to be tracking along with this one. So since I mentioned I was taking ibuprofen, it gives you a little personal note here about how this may theoretically offset some of the risks of ibuprofen on collagen production in the body. Now, to not overwhelm you, it's going to give a top 3 matches here, but you can see the whole list down here. In this case, because of that family cancer history, you can see that some of these growth hormone related peptides got knocked down lower on the list. All right. So once you're finished reviewing all these, you can go up here and you can book that consultation with a qualified professional. Select yours truly. Got some times available so we can talk about this. But don't forget to save your results here because we're not going to save your data. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable about your health data floating out there. So this is personal for you. Visit peptides.admiredmedical.com. Take your own quiz right now. Peptides offer a lot of exciting opportunities for health, wellness, and physical performance, but as we said before, they're not FDA approved, and a lot of this kind of preparation is going to be making you feel more comfortable with some of the unknowns when it comes to these different peptide therapies.